Sunday fun day, the final day of competition here at Crescendo. The elite CoEd teams of 4 have had 2 days of competition, 2 events per day, and 2 more events on tap today. We have 2 heats for both of the events. Athletes were reseeded after yesterday and will be reseeded later before the final as well. Event number 5, we got teams working in pairs once again. First pair will be doing GHDs, while the second pair is doing toes to bar. The rep scheme for that, as you see, is 18, 30, 42. When the team on the GHDs and the team on the toes to bar finish, they'll switch. So it'll go 18, 18, 18, each. And then they'll go to the worm for 30 squats, 30 and 30 each. Back to the worm for 30 squats, 42, 42, and finish out with 30 squats. The floor layout here is probably, definitely the most challenging floor layout that I'll have to try to capture the action. Basically all the way over there by the door, we have one of the teams, that's going to be CrossFit Coalition. They come into the competition in 11th. 4 other teams are in the middle of the floor here. I'm not even going to bother with lane numbers. But that's the 12th state team. In front of them will be the Mayhem Liberty team. And then on the other side of the floor, Spindle City. And rounding out this heat, Apex Black. I'm actually going to go behind here. I think I can get a better angle of most of what's going on. Or we're basically not going to be able to get everybody in frame the entire time for this one. So Spindle City and Apex Black on this side of the floor. Spindle City, second in the heat. They're only 5 points behind Mayhem Liberty. 8th place overall. They have 290 points. Liberty's got 295. Teams in 5th and 6th both have 315, so that's what they'll be looking to track down, that 20-point gap. Obviously, winning this heat would go a long way towards that. Apex Black sitting on 220 points. They're in 10th place overall. And the Mayhem Liberty team is in front here on the right side of the main floor. All of the athletes are doing GHD sit-ups and the worm squats facing the clock, which is in the back straight ahead of us there. And all of the athletes will do toes to bar facing their worm, so that there's, as you can see on this side of the floor, there's no collisions going on. Mayhem Liberty is going to be the first team to the worm. 30 worm squats here. Spindle City second on the worm, just off camera. But it looks like it's going to be like a 6 or 7 rep lead before Spindle City gets it up. They've just now done their first spot. You can just see them there on the left side with 2 athletes in the frame. And then on off camera, Coalition, 4th to the worm, 12th state. The final team to the worm. I'm pinned in this position basically right now. So let's just stay here for the end of this first round and see if we can change up camera angles, give you guys some closer views of the athletes as they get into those middle and later round, which have more reps at each station. Will Fargarson in the front there on the left of the worm, bottom left of your screen, giving some hand signals. And in the meantime, Mayhem Liberty dumps the worm at the 2.5-minute mark here in round 1. 15-minute time cap on this one. Let's take a look at that Liberty team. They will be at the North American East semifinal next month. Rebecca Devine and Nick Azor on the GHD, Dalton Rogers and Kenzie Campbell on the toes. About 30 reps each here, and then switch. Midline absolutely going to be put to the test today. JR occasionally likes to stack the midline on the final day of competition. It's not the final workout, but after 2 days, let's see how that core holds up. $20 reps on the toes to bar. Looks like Rogers and Campbell are going for sets of 10. Azor and Devine likely will finish the GHD sit-ups here. Actually, it looks like the time is going to be very good. Rogers and Campbell down again as Azora and Divine do finish up. Again, they will make the switch now. Interesting there, switching the pad over, so I'm guessing that Kenzie is going to use the GHD that Nick was on. Interesting. Austin Rowe and Anna Vincent on the toes to bar. Mike Ilif-Teru and Kimberly DeCray working on the GHDs for 12th state. Spindle City making a change here in round number 2. Teresa Puckett, Will Farquhar-Harrison just got off the toes to bar, and they'll head to the GHD as T. James Henderson and Brandy Airy get to work on a set of 30 toes to bar. Apex Black, Caleb Sylvie, Kara Petrozelli on the toes to bar. Justin Bell, Rebecca Sidham just finishing up with their GHDs. Rebecca Sidham just checking with their judge to make sure they were in fact on. 3 more toes to bar here for Sylvie and Petrozelli. And they'll make the change here in the round of 30. Rogers and Campbell done. Divine and Azor. 3 more reps on the toes to bar, and then they'll get on their second set of worm lunges. Twelfth State just made the switch, so their second pairing is working on a set of 30 there. Dalton Rogers saying ready, go, and they're off on their second set of 30 worm squats at the 5-minute and 30-second mark. Again, 15-minute time cap on this one, but the longest, biggest set is still remaining. And as they get to 10 reps here, no other team on the floor has even finished their middle section of the midline demand. You see Spindle City there on the right side of the screen heading over to their worm, so they're in the second place position in the heat on this event. They also come in second place in this heat on the overall leaderboard, 5 points behind the Mayhem Liberty team. That's rep 23 for Mayhem Liberty. So about a 20 rep lead over Spindle City. They had about a 10 rep lead starting the first set of worm squats. .622 on the clock. They make the drop. CrossFit Coalition in the background there. It looks like Chuck and Bethany Smyers have finished up on the GHDs. Brandon Estep and Marissa Estep working on their last set of toes to bar in the middle round. Spindle City working on the middle set of 30 squats. And 12th State, third in the heat right now, just heading over to the worm for that middle set of 30 worm squats. .42 the reps on the final round here. So Azor and Divine, 42 on the GHDs. Campbell and Dalton Rogers, 42 on the toes to bar, and then they'll switch. Smaller sets here for Campbell and Rogers. Did have to drop down to 5s at the very last part of that set of 30, so let's see what kind of sets they can hold on to. Good blend of partnerships required in this competition that JR has designed. Sometimes the males have to work together, sometimes the females. Other side of the floor, Apex Black working on that middle set of 30 worm squats, while Spindle City has finished up those 30 and are on the 42s now as far as the GHD and toes to bar go. Puckett and Farquhar-Harrison in the background on the toes to bar. Ari and T. James Henderson on the GHDs. That's 20 reps now for Apex Black on this middle set of 30. 10 to go before they'll get to the round of 42. Final worm squat for 12th State. Vincent and Rowe head to the rig. They left the ruin to Cray, to the GHD, and Coalition working on that middle set of 30 squats as well. Mayhem Liberty, as you see, as Zoran Divine off of the GHD. Rogers and Campbell. 28, 14 reps to go. I think, yeah, Kenzie Campbell saying 2s and 3s. The reps are getting small there for the Liberty on the toes to bar. Check back in with him in a second. Stidham and Bell, right side of the screen, working on the 42 GHD. Sylvie Petrozelli on the toes to bar. Farquharson and Puckett off of the toes to bar. Henderson and Airy off the GHD. So Spindle City has overtaken Mayhem Liberty here as Campbell and Rogers have gotten stuck up on that set of 42 toes to bar. So Spindle City, who came into this one 5 points behind, have overtaken Mayhem Liberty here in the final round. One rep to go for Liberty. That is the last rep, so they'll make the change. 5 minutes until the time cap. Liberty now second in the heat. Very difficult to hit both these teams in the frame at the same time. I'm going to try something here. Let's see if it works out. That's 24 GHDs for Farquharson and Puckett. Judges counting 18, 19, and now 20 reps on the toes to bar. Toes to bar seemingly the more difficult movement here. So taking that break on the GHD, not really penalizing for Puckett and Farquharson, as they're going to have to wait on T. James Henderson and Brandy Airy anyway. Zoran Divine in the all black on the far rig left side, working on their final set of toes to bar, while Rogers and Campbell are on the final set of 42 GHDs. We're at the 11-minute and 20-second mark. There will be another heat coming up after this with the top 6 teams after 2 days of competition here at Crescendo 2024. Vincent and Rowe, final toes to bar, and they'll make a switch. DeCray and Ella Theroux waiting for them and ready to get to work. Here is CrossFit Coalition. Myers couple on the toes to bar, S-step couple on the GHDs. They're on their 42s as well. And now Mayhem Liberty has taken the lead back from Spindle City. So Divine and Azor crushing those toes to bar relative to Airy and Henderson. So back and forth between the top 2 teams in this heat. Both teams semifinal caliber in the North America East region. Liberty qualifying 17th, Spindle City qualifying 22nd after team quarterfinals. We're at the 12-minute and 20-second mark, 10 reps down for Mayhem Liberty. And I don't think that with only worm squats remaining that Spindle City is going to be able to catch them. $18 reps now on the squats. That's 20, last 10 reps here for Liberty. They're chasing a spot in that final heat for the final event. And Spindle City not even with the worm off the ground yet. And you know Nick Azor and Dalton Rogers are about to get animated. And we're gonna try to see it. 12:54 for the Mayhem Liberty team. Big group hug, great team chemistry over there all weekend long for those guys. Really excited to see what they can do on a semifinal floor. Just gonna jot their time down so I don't forget it. I was talking to them yesterday, and even though they qualified 17th, they believe, same as I do, that semifinal in the East is wide open with about 20 teams that have a chance to maybe take one of those 8 qualifying spots. It's going to be an absolute battle, but the style of programming at semifinals compared to quarterfinals is very different, and there's a lot of experience and quality teams in that region. 23 and now 24 for Spindle City, so they're going to be the second team and probably the only 2 teams to finish under the time cap here in heat number 1. 2 more reps. Final rep for Spindle City, 13:55, 1 minute and 1 second behind Mayhem Liberty, and you can just kind of see before I switch the camera there on Teresa Puckett's face, not stoked about it. Definitely came in today with the intention of taking at least a heat win here and pushing into that final heat if possible for the final. Twelfth State came in third in this heat, 245 points to start the day. They are in third in the heat right now, and they're going to make their way to the worm for the last time. 22 seconds to the time cap. Let's see how many squats they can get.
You got 15 seconds. Let's go. That's the maximum. Let's go. 10 seconds.
Eight squats there for 12th State. But Mayhem Liberty is going to take the heat win. Nick Azor and Rebecca Devine really making some time up on that last set of toes to bar.
Hey Mom, I love you.
Kenzie Campbell giving a shout out to her mom at home. Came up to me yesterday, said all the family's been watching. They're having a great competition, and look at that. The top dogs are taking the floor. We're going to have a full heat here. There'll be an additional lane on the other side of the floor like Coalition was. This will be, I'll do my best to give you guys as much action as possible. And I appreciate the grace for the floor layout. It's really clever floor layout, honestly, but challenging to stream. So, where to begin? Mayhem Independence comes in with 375 points and a 10-point lead. They're going to be in the same lane right here that Mayhem Liberty was in. Angela DeChico, Molly McGrandy, Sam DeMeester, Zoe Jones. Those have generally been the pairings. Jones and DeMeester having a ton of experience for the last couple years working together, so have been in sync on just about everything so far. That 10-point lead that they have is over the Grid House, and they'll be in the other featured lane here. Kevin Steinhaus, Ben Sexton, Caroline Klutz, Stevie Dellinger on 365 points and second overall to start the day. They're trying to fend off team Let's See What Happens. This is not a team in the CrossFit Games season. They're all from North Carolina, and they put together a roster that's been very competitive. They're on 360 points, only 5 points behind Grid House and 15 points behind Independence. That team consists of, looks like it's going to be Evan Rogers and Caroline Stanley again, and Tristan Fiore and Bryn Carrick, the same pairings they had for the pegboards and double unders yesterday. Behind them, they've got Reignited. They're on 330 points, so if they want a podium spot here today, they need to make a statement, not once, but twice. Looks like it's going to be Quinn Robinson and Shaylin Laurie here on the right. Jordan Lundeen, and Steph Grange. Oh, maybe, and Steph Grange on the other one. Those are their 4 athletes. Quinn Robinson always good for a laugh. The final 2 teams in this heat, as we have 1 minute until we start, are going to be tied on 315 points. This is the Ocean State team, qualified second out of quarterfinals. Ethan Helbing and Josh Mattis, Christine Best and Christine Middleton. Middleton and Helbig looks like they're going to start on the toes bar. Mattis and Best on the GHD. And Crash Kids, who are on the far other side of the floor, tied on 315 points. They actually hold the tiebreaker thanks to event win or a higher event performance. They've had a great competition. It looks like it's going to be Zach Streel and Caroline Thomas working on the toes to bar to start, while the young Peyton Myers and Jessica Rubo will be on the GHD. 3 Event 5 underway here, Crash Crescendo 2024. My name is B.Friendly. Thank you guys for being with us as we're down here in Spartanburg, South Carolina. If you didn't see the workout earlier, we'll throw it up for you now. So they're split into the male-female pairs as we saw, and it's 18-30-42 is the rep scheme on the gymnastics. One pair will do the toes to bar while the other does the GHD, then they'll switch in every round. In between, or at the end of each round, 30 worm squats. Second workout in a row with the worm, second of the only 2 workouts that will have the worm in this competition. So we get those male-female pairs again, and then the opportunity to see the athletes work on the worm. Round of 18 is not really the challenge here. The toes to bar in the round of 30 and 42 seem to be the make and break in the first heat, especially for May and Liberty and Spindle City as they exchange the lead in that final round. And Liberty, Grit House, Ocean State. Let's see what happens. Reignited, all to the worm within a few seconds of each other. I believe Liberty and Grit House first to get the worm off the floor. Then let's see what happens, followed by Reignited, Ocean State, and Crash Kids. All teams with the worm up and working in this first set of 30 front squats. Mr. Jones, the Chico, McGrandy, Angelo saying let's take a break there. Thumbs up from Sam, ready to go. The one and only Rick Jones out here creating the fire all weekend long. Make sure you're giving him a follow on Instagram. Steinhaus calling out orders there from the front. Klutz, Sexton, and Dellinger. Switching shoulders here for Ocean State. Middle of the set, not a bad strategy again. This is all about the last round, really. Matt is out front. And Best, Helbig, and Middleton for them. Grit House off of the worm. Nam Independence off the worm. Team Let's See What Happens getting started on their sets of 30. Evan Rogers, I believe. Never want to say it, I believe. He's in the qualifying spot for the East semifinal. Caroline Stanley having making the games last year. There's Carrick and Flory working on the GHD. And the team from CrossFit Crash as we hit the 3-minute mark. All 6 teams are on to the middle round of 30. "28 reps now for Demeester and Jones, and 30 as the Chico and McGrandy are already waiting. And as they make the switch, Grit House as well. Sexton and Klutz now to the toes to bar. Steinhaus and Dellinger onto the GHD. So these top 2 teams are dead heat right now. You see Team Let's See What Happens make their switch, maybe 5 to 10 reps behind those 2 teams. And to my right, Reignited's making the switch. Lundeen and Lori to the toes to bar here for their set of 30. Behind them, Mattis and Best tag out with Helbig and Middleton. So 5 of the 6 teams are now onto this middle portion. That's 21, and now 22 reps for DeChico and McGrandy. Hand up in the background for Streel and Thomas, who have 2 more reps on their set of 30. 20 reps for Flory and Carrick on the right side of the rig there. 2 more reps for DeChico and McGrandy, and right on cue, they get off, and Grit House gets off. Very little margin for error between these 2 teams. It really is a bummer that we don't see the Grit House in the game season this year. They're such a strong team, and it was the rules. They did technically break them, but it's an unfortunate technicality to lose such a talented team. Team Let's See What Happens, still 3rd in the heat. They came in 3rd overall, 5 points behind Grit House. They're not out of this though. That last round of 42 toes to bar can make a massive difference. So left front of your screen is the Mayhem Independence team, in the right and the back, the Grid House, and then let's see what happens. And here's Reignited, fourth in the heat. They're gonna get the worm off the floor. Quinn Robinson in the front there, and their second set of 30 front squats underway. You think toes to bar, midline, and worm, you think of CrossFit Mayhem, so no surprise that the Liberty team took heat 1 and the Independence team is out front here in heat 2, but it is close. 2 more reps, and they'll head to the final round. At the 5:42 mark, Grid House 5:46, it's about a 4-second difference, and you see in the background, the Ocean State team just now getting the worm to the shoulders there. Two more reps for let's see what happens. And at the 6:05 mark, they'll finish up that middle set of 30. This is going to be rep 15 for DeChico and McGrandy as Rogers and Stanley just get started on their toes to bar. Checking on the Grid House here, see where they're at. 21 on the GHD. 18 now on the toes to bar. Ooh, Robinson and Lundeen have switched it up here for Reignited in the final round. Robinson working with Grange on toes to bar. Lundeen and Laurie on the GHD. 27 and now 28 reps for Jones and DeMeester. Crash Kids working on their middle set of 30 squats in the background. And DeChico and McGrandy done. 12 reps to go on the toes to bar. Sexton and Klutz are done. No rep right there. I think that was rep 32. That's 34 and now 35. They're off the rig. 2 more reps. So Independence, DeMeester glancing across, sees that they're gonna make the change first. And it'll come down to McGrandy and DeChico if they can maintain a big set there. Kevin Steinhaus and I think they got 3 more reps to go. Steinhaus reduced to doubles here. And they do get it done. I have some ground to make up. Let's see if Sexton and Klutz can do it. Let's see what this first set looks like for them. Ocean State in the background on their final set of 42s. Now first pair working. 8 and they drop. Stanley and Rogers made the switch. Fiore and Carrick to the toes to bar. They do a opening set of 6. They could still potentially chase down that Grid House team. But only 5 points behind them on the leaderboard in this final set of toes to bar is where everything can change, as we saw in the first heat. 8:50 on the clock. Time to beat 12:54 for Mayhem Liberty. Spindle City at 13:55, the only other team to get it done under the time cap in heat number 1. That's 28, 9, 30 reps, and they're gonna keep going there for Independence. Let's check in on the other 2 teams here that are leading. Twenty reps for Fiore and Carrick. 30 reps for Klutz and Sexton. It's tightening up. Jordan Lundeen saying to Seth Lohr, we got to do 5s here. Reignited on their second pair. That's 19 and 20 reps for them. And Mayhem Independence on to their final 30 worm squats. We're just hitting the 10-minute mark. and it's looking like it's going to be another event win for Mayhem Independence. They came in as the overall leaders. Again, midline and worm. You have to think with all the training that those guys do up at CrossFit Mayhem that that's in their wheelhouse, and it looks like that is the case. The Grit House team gave them a run for their money, but it looks like they're just not going to have it here at the very end. Grit House now is off the rig. That's 15 squats already for Mayhem, however. I believe that this year they're just competing as Mayhem in the CrossFit Games season, listed as Mayhem Independence here, however. I always try to call them by the names that's on the heat sheets. 3 more reps. And underneath 11 minutes, event win. Now they're looking at that clock to see if that Mayhem Liberty time of 12:54 can steal some points from anyone else. Does not look like that's going to be the case when it comes to the Grit House, or let's see what happens. These two teams now battling for second in the heat. One more rep for Grit House. They'll get second overall at the 11:25 mark. So they'll fall 5 more points behind, but maintain that second place position. This is rep number 15 for Let's See What Happens. Got a no rep there, and that could be another no rep. Reignited is close to catching up to them. I'm going to see if I can get an angle to show both. They're in a difficult configuration for that. But on the left front of your screen here, Reigniting coming in. That's rep 19 for them. Hand up for Let's See What Happens. Seem to have sorted out the issues they were having a few seconds ago. Last rep, 12:08. That'll be good enough for third overall, coming in ahead of Liberty. It was at 12:54. Reignited only a few seconds, maybe 5 seconds behind them. Great push by Reignited there at the end. Will finish 4th in the heat and the event. And Ocean State onto the rig now. They're now chasing down that 12:54 time. That's got 5 reps down, so 20 plus reps to go, and we're at the 12:34 mark. Helbig just reminding them there that it doesn't matter how fast one person squats, we have to do it as a team. 15 reps to go. 10 seconds until that time from Mayhem Liberty. 20 more reps, and Mayhem Liberty will get the 5th place overall on the event. Two minutes to the time cap. Final rep. 13:09, so they'll finish in between the Liberty and the Spindle City teams. That should be 6th place in the event, and they'll break the tie with that they had with the Crash Kids. You see the hand up there in the judge. Jessica Rubo dropping off the ring. Her and Kaden Miners the last 3 reps before they get to the worm. There's 1 minute and 20 seconds to the time cap. If they get this last rep, they will have time to get those 30 squats done and potentially be the last team to finish under the cap. Spindle City's time is going to pass by in 2 seconds, so they'll finish 7th overall. And if they can get at least 20 squats here, the Crash Kids will still salvage an 8th place finish on event number 5. And we'll have to check the scores. I think that'll still keep them in the final heat for the final event later today, which actually might be right up their wheelhouse. They had one of their best workouts on event number 1, which was gymnastics heavy. And there's some serious gymnastics in the final later today as well. Deficit parallel, handstand push-ups, ring muscle-ups, flip sled, and heavy dumbbell snatch. That's 20 reps. They got 20 seconds to go, so they did pass by that 20 rep mark that they needed. 4 reps to go, 12 seconds to the cap. And they get it done under the cap. Jessica Rubo and Kaden Myers collapsing over the worm. but the Mayhem team will win both heats. Mayhem Independence extends their lead by 5. They have a 10-point lead going into the finals.
15.
I know you CrossFit Mayhem in the game season, but here you listed as Independence. So
15-point lead in last event.
you had 10, so you'll have 15. Ooh, that's nice.
Hey, I got you. Don't worry.
Yeah, Angelo always got my back. Longtime friend, great competitor in the sport. Event 5 in the books. Finale will be later today. Heat number 1, 3:18 p.m. Eastern Time. Heat 2, 3:39. We will crown a champion. Podium spots on the line. Cash prize on the line. And HDR CBD boys. Yeah, HDR CBD boys. And I think I'm gonna stream their next event, 152 on Instagram. Don't miss it. Where's your last teammate?
Who cares? He sucks. He sucks. I'm carrying the team. He sucks.
Travis Brault says he's the captain of the team. All right, we'll see you guys for the final at 3:18 Eastern. Thanks for being here.